Have you ever wondered why Toyota is not rushing into the electric vehicle race, or why you are still likely to see a Prius than a fully electric Toyota? Many people are wondering the same. After months of declining sales, why Toyota has cut its EV objectives. In this video, we are about to talk about their story, strategy, and why they seem to be taking the easy way to a fully electric future. Stay with us till the end of this video to understand it all. Let's get started. Let's go back in time to the 1990s. It was a great time to be a car fan. Giants that sucked up gas ruled the roads. Big SUVs, power cars, and anything else that made you feel like you could go on a cross-country road trip at any time. But there was a big cloud over it all that couldn't be seen: smoke. People began to understand that these cars weren't just releasing feelings of freedom or excitement. They were also releasing carbon emissions, which was becoming a major issue. Environmental and government groups started to sound the alarm. They blamed car companies. These issues need to be fixed. Cal Air Resources Board was one of these groups. CARB set a pretty tough goal in 1990. By 1998, they wanted 2% of all cars sold in the state to be zero-emission vehicles. In other words, they wanted electric cars. The automakers could have sneered and slowed down, but they got to work instead. Toyota, being Toyota, thought of a good idea. They took their well-known RAV4 type and switched out the gas engine for an electric battery. The RAV4 EV came out in 1997. This was Toyota's first fully electric car, and it got on the roads of California just in time to meet the rules set by CARB. The interesting thing is that Toyota wasn't the only company that started making electric cars. Ford and GM tried to make EVs as well. It was really exciting to see these cars. There was a feeling of hope in the air as EVs started to show up in California. At last, it looked like the auto business was going in the right direction. But surprise, it didn't last. Something strange began to happen in the early 2000s. Many of these early electric cars were suddenly taken off the market, even though interest and demand for them seemed to be rising. There wasn't just a quiet break either. No, these cars were smashed. They were destroyed. What happened? Well, one reason was that a small business called GM had a patent for a very important part of EV battery technology at the time. In 2000, GM sold that property to an oil company called Chevron. An oil business bought the rights to a key piece of EV technology. What a surprise! Chevron didn't want electric vehicles to take over. So, as soon as they got the patent, they sued Toyota and Panasonic, the company that made Toyota's batteries, for patent infringement. Toyota was going to make more plug-in cars, but they were quickly forced to back up. Chevron pretty much stopped them from using the technology to make big batteries that are powered by electricity alone. Even though things were crazy, Toyota had one trick up its sleeves. They were working on the RAV4 EV in the background, but they were also making the Prius, a car that would change the game forever. The Prius is now a famous figure, like the eco-friendly star of the car world. But when Toyota first put the Prius on the market in 2000, it was a risky project. The RAV4 EV was fully electric, but this one wasn't fully gas-powered either. It was a hybrid instead, with a small gas engine and an electric motor. The Prius was brilliant because it was so simple. Other automakers were having trouble with the limits of the first EV batteries, but Toyota came up with a clever way to get around them. The Prius had a small battery that stored power. The engine and brakes could charge the battery. This meant that the car could run on electricity for short journeys but still use gas for longer trips. It worked well, cut down on pollution, and didn't require cars to change how they drove too much. The best part was that it didn't need any charging ports. A lot of people loved it. It was cheap, useful, and seemed like a small step in the right direction rather than a big jump. In eco-friendly places like California, the Prius became the model of how to drive in a way that doesn't hurt the earth. Many famous people in Hollywood like Leonardo DiCaprio and Cameron Diaz have been seen driving Prius cars to make a statement. Toyota's plan is pretty clear. Companies like Tesla are putting all of their money into electric cars, but Toyota is stuck with hybrid because that's what they know best, and they've been very good at it. Toyota made a huge 60% of all hybrid sales in the US from 2020 to 2022. That's big. From the classic Prius to the famous RAV4 hybrid, they've made a whole line of hybrids, and they're not stopping anytime soon. Toyota is not as good at making fully electric cars as they are at hybrid electric vehicles. They only have one all-electric car in the US as of 2023, the bZ4X. Toyota sold just over 6,000 bZ4Xs in the US in the first 3 quarters of 2023, while more than 100,000 RAV4 hybrids were sold. The big question is, why? Why is Toyota, which makes some of the world's most popular cars, taking so long to go fully electric while other companies are racing to do the same? The reason Toyota is stopping is not just to stall. They have good reasons for not going all in on the fully electric car market right away. And they have been pretty open about it. You need a lot of specific materials to make electric cars. For the batteries, lithium is the most important. Toyota has warned that the world doesn't have enough of these important minerals to meet the huge demand of electric vehicles. There is no doubt in their minds about the technology. They just believe that we'll run out of supplies. Toyota says that instead of putting all of its resources into making a fully electric car, it makes more sense to use those resources to make a lot of hybrid cars, would still cut emissions a lot but use fewer resources. Some states like California have a lot of charging sites for electric cars, but most of the US is way behind. Toyota says that the lack of places to charge electric cars is a big issue. When you compare California to other states like Ohio, which has over 14,000 charging outlets, Ohio only has about 1,200. This makes it very hard for people to buy electric cars. Cost is the third reason Toyota is not putting all of its eggs in EVs just yet. Even though electric cars are getting cheaper, they're still pretty pricey when compared to hybrids and cars that run on gas. Toyota thinks that hybrids are a better choice for most drivers right now because they are more useful and less expensive. A hybrid RAV4, for example, costs a lot less than a fully electric car, even when government benefits are taken into account. Of course, not everyone agrees with Toyota's point of view. Some people say that the company is being too careful. Other car companies are moving quickly, but Toyota is taking its time. This could hurt them in the long run. Electric cars are becoming more popular, and some people are afraid that Toyota will fall behind if they don't speed up. Toyota's hesitation to make fully electric cars has caused a lot of negative feedback. Some environmental groups say that Toyota is taking too long to make EVs because their hybrids are making too much money. Hybrids still use gas, and Toyota will have a foot in both the gas and electric worlds as long as they sell hybrids. Even though they've been criticized, Toyota says they are just playing the long game. They want to make more fully electric cars in the future. And they're also working on the new battery technology that could change the EV market in a big way. But for now, they're not changing their minds. They still think that hybrids will be the best way to get from gas-powered cars to electric cars in the future. How will things go from here for Toyota? It's not clear. They have found a market for their hybrid cars. On one hand, they have a huge share of that market, and hybrids are a good option for people who want to cut down on pollution without giving up on the ease of use of gas-powered cars. On the other hand, the world is quickly becoming electric. A lot of governments want to get rid of gas-powered cars and replace them with electric cars. They are betting though that hybrids are the best option for drivers right now. Do you think Toyota is ever going to have good luck with the EVs? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed watching this video, do like, share and subscribe to the channel.